So I'm going to be talking about my little brother Josh's birth story, and I'm going to give some background on where I was when he was born, how his pregnancy went down, and then how like our life is with him now. So just a little background, Josh is my father and my stepmother's son, so he's a half brother of mine. And I was 9 years old and my dad told me, like, you're gonna have a little brother, and that was insane to me because I was the youngest at the time. I only had an older brother. And so I thought, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have like a baby brother, and it's gonna be so cool. So super excited, super pumped. And my dad picks me up one day to go to lunch, and we're standing at my front door and just like deciding where we want to eat. He gets a phone call from Marty Bell, my stepmom, and she goes, I'm going into labor right now. I don't know what to do. You know, she's very confused. And she had a previous son named Luis who was 10 at the time. And so she's freaking out, and like the worst part was she was like 2 hours away from us, so we didn't know what to do. And so my dad's like, you know, I'll figure it out, like hangs up on her, starts making all these calls. And then she calls him back and she says, don't worry, I'm on my way to the hospital. And he's like, how? Like back then, like Uber and Lyft like weren't things. And so he's like, how? And she's like, Luis is driving me. So that was a 10-year-old. So a 10-year-old, my stepbrother was driving my stepmom to the hospital. And so my dad starts flipping out and he's like, what are you doing? Like, you're all gonna, like, you're gonna kill yourselves. And she's like, don't worry, we got this. And so my dad just, like, she's super stubborn. So my dad just gave up and said, you know, like, we'll meet you at the hospital. Okay. So we start booking to the hospital. And we get there, and you're supposed to go through like the whole check-in process and like, get your bracelets and room numbers and everything. But my dad's just dragging me behind him, running in, and he just goes up to the desk and says, I need Maribel Leal right now. What room is she in? And the nurses could tell that he was frantic, and so they just said, oh, she's in room yada yada, whatever it was. And so he said, okay, great, thanks. And they're trying to like stop him, you know, like, sir, please stop, we need to like get your information. And he just starts pushing them, and we're running, he's dragging me, we get in the elevator, we get to where we need to go. He throws me in the waiting room, and I see him run down this hallway, and he swings open a door, and it was the wrong room. It was some other lady like giving birth. And so she was like, what? And then we just heard a nurse yell from down the hall. She goes, wrong room, one to your right. And he swings open the door, and like right as he's swinging open the door, like my brother is like being born. So he just made it, but it was super chaotic. And you know, I don't really know how the whole like Luis driving her like happened. I guess it worked, but so we got there just in time. And I mean, now Josh is 9 years old. He's good, normal boy, normal life. But he had a super, super, super crazy, birth. And then I had another little brother born, Daniel, a year and a half later. And it wasn't as crazy, but it was pretty horrible too. It was just crazy, and it's like nothing's ever situated. So he's good, and I'm good. And it was crazy, but it turned out pretty good. So yeah. And that is my brother's birth story. That's how he came about, that's how we got there, and that's how he is now.
All right, thank you.